Hi guys, I'm going to do a process video today using the Scraptastic the Most Wonderful Time of the Year kit, which is the kit for December. I have the kit and the add-on and the extra pattern paper here. And this kit is jam-packed full of tons and tons and tons of embellishments, so much that I'm having a hard time storing all of the embellishments that come with this kit. So I'm just taking a look at some of the embellishments that I think I might want to use along with this photo. I have that photo over to the right of my father-in-law and my little kitten Nixie snuggling up to him on the couch. And I'm just kind of trying to pick out what I think might go along with that photo. So I have the Dear Santa tag, which is from Pink Paisley, and then I also picked out that wood veneer with the deer head because that's very appropriate for my father-in-law's hobbies. And then I also have the twinkle wood veneer, and I think I'm going to layer those three things, the tag, the deer head, and the twinkle, all together. And I'm going to use this pattern paper background here. That's pattern paper, really it's from the Simple Stories DIY Christmas collection, and it really stood out to me as I opened my kit for the first time as one of the papers that I really wanted to use as a background. So I'm just going to use it for this layout right off the bat so that I know that I've used it in the way I want to use it. And I think it really looks good with a design that goes horizontally across the page like this. So this bow paper, it's red with white bows on it, is from, what is it from? It's from Pink Paisley, the Merry and Bright collection. And so I'm just cutting a strip of it. I just cut it with my hand. It has a pattern on it, so it's pretty easy to cut it just with your scissors. And then I just folded it in half so I could get the center point and cut a little fishtail banner on it with my scissors. And I think that that looks pretty nice there behind the photo and the tag, just to kind of tie them together. And now I'm just going to look through the ephemera that came in the kit, and it's from Pink Paisley from the Merry and Bright collection. And there are just tons and tons of cute little pieces here. So at first I had that jingle piece out there, and I was thinking about layering it with something else. And then I thought that this Merry and Bright just added a bit of brightness up there. I didn't want it to feel so heavy because it is, you know, fairly high on my design. Like if you're thinking about the vertical, not vertical, the horizontal strip across the middle of the paper, that Merry and Bright round die cut is fairly at the top part of that horizontal strip. So now I want to put a little cluster up here in the top left-hand corner, and I originally had this green kind of banner flag thing that says Merry and Bright, and I thought about using some stickers that are little banners, and then I changed my mind about that. So now the kit comes with all of these DIY Christmas stickers from Simple Stories, and so I picked out the word Santa, and I thought I'd call this Santa's Day Off. I don't have an apostrophe though, and I also don't have an S. So I'm going to take I'm going to take the S off of the word Christmas, and now this is a different shade of red, and so I'm going to have to try to match that, and I'm also going to have to try to kind of cut out an apostrophe or something. So in the meantime, while I think about what I'm going to do about that S and apostrophe problem, I'm just going to spell out day off using the other letter stickers that came in the same sticker set. Again, that's from the DIY Christmas collection from Simple Stories. And so that makes a really nice title. I like that, except for the fact that that S is really different from the word Santa. So now that the word Christmas is ruined because I took the S off of it, I can use the rest of the word to experiment. So I took my Distress ink. This is Fired Brick. And I just took my little Ranger dauber tool thing. It's like an ink tool, and I'm just checking out how that looks over the sticker, and it was still a little bit too bright red. It wasn't quite burgundy enough. So then I looked in my Prima inks, and I just had them in a bag because I had taken them someplace, and there's a color called Fired Brick, and boy, that's a pretty close match, isn't it? So compared to the Distress ink there. So that N is using the Fired Brick from Prima, and that's a chalk ink, and it came in a previous kit. So sorry that I'm too zoomed in here for you to see what I'm doing, but I don't even remember what I'm doing. There I go. I am cutting that S a little bit tighter, and the little kind of tail that was hanging off the front of the S, I just cut that into a little apostrophe, and I'm going to ink both of those pieces with that Fired Brink Prima ink, chalk ink, and then I'm going to let it dry. It dries fairly quickly, but I'm going to put it aside for a while because I have a few other things to do. And now that I know what my title is, I'm not too worried about putting it together quite at this moment. So I still haven't glued anything down yet. I'm just taking a picture because I'm going to disassemble this so that I can cut the manufacturer's strip off of this paper. Again, the paper is Simple Stories DIY Christmas. And I'm liking how that's looking. I'm going to zoom out again eventually. I had a bit of trouble with remembering my zooming this time. It's been a while since I've done a process video, so I'm a little bit rusty. um, Yeah, so I just grabbed my cake box and I'm looking through my samples of mists. I have a whole bunch of mists. Most of them are Mr. Huey's, but I also have some other brands of inks like Heidi Swap and that sort of thing. So I'm looking for a brown ink that I can dye that deer head. I don't want it to be too bright brown, but I want it to look kind of like stained or like a dark wood. And so I took this hexagon out of my wood veneer stash just to use as a sample piece, and I really like how that looks. That is using a classic tan Mr. Huey's. But I also have this manila, which I think is going to be too green, but I gave it a try anyways, and yeah, it was too green. So I'm going to go ahead and use the classic tan. And I really like how that looks, and it actually looks better and better as it dries. Like right now, it has quite a strong orange look to it. Then I was pretty sure I wanted to use the estate green because it's the greenest green that I have. I just double checked my swatch tags there just to make sure that that was the green I wanted to use, and it was. So there are my two misted wood veneers that I'm going to layer together. And I'm just taking my time to really clean my hands really good so that I don't get any stray ink anywhere on my project. And that's how I'm going to line it up. Now that tag says naughty and nice down at the bottom. I'm not going to bother covering it up, but when I put the wood veneer on, it's going to cover it up a little bit. I'm using my Tombow Mono Multi Adhesive, the liquid adhesive, which is a nice strong adhesive, but it doesn't have a glossy finish to it, so if it does ooze, you're okay. And then I'm just lining up the word twinkle, and I'm taking note of which letters are going to hit the deer wood veneer, and then I'm going to put my adhesive just on those, and it ends up being the I and the N is where those two overlap. And I really like how this is looking, but it's lacking a little something. And the word twinkle, I kind of wanted to use yellow because to me twinkle should be yellow or at least sparkly. So I didn't want to use yellow because there's no yellow anywhere else. So I have these new stickles and they're called Seafoam, and they're the closest. I used to use lime a lot, and I couldn't find lime at the store I was at, but they had this new color called Seafoam. It actually is so similar to lime, I don't even think it's really a new color. I think they just called it a new name. But anyways, I'm using Seafoam stickles, which on my sample card looks pretty much exactly like lime stickles. I used lime so much that I did run out of them. So I'm just coloring in, and stickles as they dry, they do shrink up a little bit. So you will see, even though it looks like I'm covering up all of the green that I misted there, you'll see the green once the stickles are dry. And so that just adds a little something to my word twinkle. And yeah, so I like how that looks. And I'm just going to be very careful that I don't touch the word twinkle while I'm scrapbooking from now on, because it takes a long time for stickles to dry. So I could have put that over to the side, but I decided to leave it there and just be very careful to not smush it. It would have been safer to put it over to the side, and if you're worried about it, I would put it over to the side. I just wanted to hold the space, and also while I was at it, I just decided that I would put an actual reinforcer on that tag. So that's a real tag with a real hole in it, but it doesn't have a real reinforcer on it, and I like to have real reinforcers on my tags. Just it adds a teeny bit. It's just a small detail, but it just adds that little bit of texture. So I'm just looking at the red papers that I have in my kit, and I've pulled out some of those die cuts that came in the kit. I don't know who makes them because they didn't come in a package. It's a partial package. I'm pretty sure it might be Jelly Bean Soup who makes those die cut pieces. And I love die cut pieces like that because you can punch them up and cut them out and stuff because they're fairly big pieces and they don't have anything written or designed on them. Some of them have like a grid pattern, but other than that, they're solids. So I'm just experimenting with the sizes of punches that I have. And the outer punch is a 3/4 inch circle to make the outside edge of that reinforcer, but then the inside circle I don't have the right size to make it exactly the same as the punch that was in the tag, so I am using my hole punch, my office supply hole punch. I think it makes a 1/4 inch hole, and I punched that, and then I repunched the 3/4 inch circle around it just so that it would be centered. It makes it easier to punch your smaller punch first and then punch out your bigger outer circle, just because otherwise you have to try to keep that circle in place and punch exactly in the center of it. I don't know if that made any sense, but that's the way that I do it. I always punch my inner circle first, because then you're just holding on to a big piece of cardstock and punching your outer circle exactly where you want it. You can kind of take your time and you have more control over it. So anyhow, I went into my stash and got a piece of twine. I just wanted a neutral piece of twine, so I went with just a cream with a beige thread in it. Just because there's a lot going on within the horizontal band, and I don't want too much extending outside of the horizontal band. I thought about using black twine just because there are black elements on this layout, but I decided not to. So I'm doing a triple outline with a 0.05 black pen, and it's my Sakura, what is it called? Prisma pen? No, hang on. It's a micron pen. I always forget the name of it for some reason, but it's a micron pen. And so I am just finally going to start taping some of this stuff down using my ATG. And I'm just putting in some Stampin' Up! Dimensional adhesive on all four corners of that just to give a tiny bit of lift. And I just have to decide where I want those two to go. I'm lining up the bottom of them. Oh, before I do that, I'm just going to put this tag on. I'm stapling it in twice in two places. So that's what that looks like. And then, boy, I really love how that tag looks. I'm really happy with that. And when I glued it down, I just made sure I didn't touch the twinkle part because it's still not dry, believe it or not. Even on fast forward, a lot of time has passed and it's still not dry. So I'm just, again, this is just for a little bit of dimension and shadow. I'm just putting these little dimensional adhesive by Stampin' Up! They're just little pop dots. And I'm putting them on all four corners of the tag and just under the tab part of the photo so that most of the photo is flat. Sorry, I forgot to zoom out again, but I put dimensional adhesive on the Merry and Bright embellishment as well. Oh, I didn't do that. I'm doing it now, I guess. Sorry. And I'm just deciding where I put that. When I place it, I want it low. I don't want it competing with that black tab. The black tab says picture perfect. And I want Merry and Bright to definitely be more within the confines of the horizontal strip that I've got, whereas the picture perfect black tab kind of sticks up a little bit. But I also wanted to make sure that the Merry and Bright covered the corner of the photo. So I just put it like that. And now at this point, I was going to have this be a pretty minimally embellished layout, but then I kind of kept going here. So adding that flare badge, and then I had to put something under it just to give it a bit of a home, was an idea that I had kind of at the last moment. I thought I was almost done. And then when I added that flare badge, or thought about adding the flare badge, then it became quite unbalanced. so I had to put something else dark up here by the Merry and Bright. Even though I chose the Merry and Bright because it was lighter, once I added another embellishment over here on the left hand side that has quite a bit of darkness to it, that flare badge that I'm just about to glue down right now, I just had to add some more black over on the other side just to balance it out. So I like how this is looking, and now I'm going to focus up on this corner right here. Actually, I am putting the Santa sticker on for the title right now. I'll zoom out in a second. This photo was a photo I took of my father-in-law, and he's snuggled, the kitten snuggled right up to him. Nixie really never snuggles with me. I wish she would, but because I'm the one who gave her her medicine for the first little bit of her life, she kind of doesn't like me at all. And so I'm always amazed when she snuggles with someone else. So I took this picture of her snuggling with Santa because, you know, he walks right into the house and he's kind of big and loud and gruff, and the little tiny baby kitten just snuggles right up to him, even though she will have absolutely nothing to do with me. And I try to be like gentle and soft and quiet around her so I don't frighten her. But clearly it's not about that. It's something personal. um, so anyways, I thought it was really cute that she was snuggled up with him. And I'm just thinking about what I can put on the top there. I've got the snowflake already picked out and the green kind of ribbony banner that says Merry and Bright, but I feel like I need something dark up there. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try just outlining the banner, because sometimes that's just enough darkness to make something feel a little bit more, give it a little bit more weight and make it stand out a little bit. So I'm using, I think it's my .03 pen this time, and I'm just doing a single outline. And I try to go fast when I'm outlining something detailed so that because I find I get more wobbly if I go slow. So I like how this snowflake is very subtle and it blends in with the background, and then I like the banner, but again I feel like it needs something dark. So I'm just looking at all those stickers. Sorry I'm zoomed in too far for you to see what I'm looking at, but these words kind of caught my eye, but it didn't fit with the design. So then these circle stickers had this heart with a black, like a black circle around it, and I thought, ah, that's perfect, that's exactly what I want. So I'm going to put it like that, and then I'm just trying to decide how much I need the snowflake to go off the page. So I just bumped it up a little bit so that the snowflake extends off the page, and then I need the Merry and Bright to extend off the page too. So I am going to place it just like this, and I really like how it's off, like it's not symmetrical and it's not lined up. It's just kind of, it gives it a little bit of whimsy or something. I don't know. So that's the center from that snowflake, and I thought that would make a nice little tiny detail. And I can't get the glue. I'm losing patience for that glue, so I just took my glue pen because it's a lot faster and easier to use. And so that's what I'm doing. So I'm just looking at it right now, and I forgot that all about the video camera. So now I'm just picking out a roller date stamp. I've got two that have a Christmas theme. One isn't really a date stamp, it's more of like a countdown to Christmas stamp, the gray one, which is from Stampin' Up. But then I have this American Crafts red one, and I'm just picking out a date, and it says something about Santa, and I thought maybe I could, I just had to check my phone for the date there, that's what I was doing at the beginning, and I thought maybe I could partially stamp it so that it just says Santa. I think it says letters to Santa, but I wanted it to just say Santa and then the date. But it didn't really stamp the phrase at all. It just stamped the date. And that's okay. I don't mind it like that. It looks nice with just the date. So here's me just showing you what it looks like up close a little bit. You get to see that the outlining isn't perfect, but you don't notice that when you look at the overall layout. And there's that tag. I really love how that turned out. I just put the date 2014 down there. That was before I did the roller date stamp, and you can see naughty and nice kind of sticking out from there, but you don't really notice it. It's written in a fine enough font that it doesn't stand out or anything. And I could have run a piece of washi tape. I was going to put a piece of craft washi tape over top of it and just wrapped it around the bottom part of the tag, and that would be a solution if you didn't want that naughty and nice to show, but I don't mind it. So there's the title. My apostrophe isn't perfect. I couldn't find my fussy cutting scissors, so I might go back and fix that, or I might just leave it. It looks okay the way it is. So you'll see some photos next. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you all have a really great holiday. I will be scrapbooking a little bit through the holiday. I don't know when I'll get to upload the videos for my holiday layouts, but I do plan to use this kit quite a lot between now and when I go back to work on January 2nd. So look for some videos from me. I don't know when, but you'll see them sometime. Have a great holiday, everybody.